Chapter 2101. Fang Yuan makes a transaction. Wu Yong tried to stay calm as he exchanged some words with Mushroom Man Gu Immortal Ko Xian Hong. So Fang Yuan wants my Sheng Tian true inheritance, but he has not discovered who land. After some probing, the worry in his heart was finally lifted. The truth was, as long as Kong Ri Tian did not expose this secret personally, there was only a slight possibility that Hu Land would be discovered by anyone else other than Wu clan. Back then, Kong Ri Tian and the rest used Hu Land to escape. No other Gu immortal saw them. After Kong Ri Tian and the rest escaped, no news of them had emerged. Thus, outsiders like Fang Yuan would think that Kong Ri Tian is in my hands. Thus, he came to me for Sheng Tian true inheritance. Wu Yong thought, my actions earlier were not good enough. I should have announced immediately that Kong Ri Tian was captured by my Wu clan. Even though that was not true, if Wu clan publicized that, Kong Ri Tian would not come out to refute him anyway if Kong Ri Tian exposed himself. The Gu immortals that were after Sheng Tian true inheritance would charge towards him like jackals. They would tear his weak little body to shreds. If Kong Ri Tian hears such an announcement from my Wu clan, he will also understand our motive. Keeping Hu Land a secret will also be ensuring his safety. He will not reject it. Wu Yong had another plan. He could make up for his previous mistake that Hu Land was a secluded domain of heaven and earth. It had immense value. If Wu clan wanted to own it, he would need to do it in secret. I can let you have Sheng Tian true inheritance. Wu Yong rapidly transmitted and replied to Xian Hong. For Hu Land, giving up Sheng Tian true inheritance was a wise decision. Moreover, this Sheng Tian true inheritance had just been obtained by Wu clan. It had contents but not immortal Gu. The immortal Gu and immortal essence were still in Kong Ri Tian's hands. Xian Hong was slightly stunned that Wu Yong agreed so readily. It was out of his expectations. He was a Gu immortal expert of Mushroom Man Paradise. After Lu Weiyin submitted to Fang Yuan along with the entire paradise, he became Fang Yuan's subordinate. This was the first mission that Fang Yuan gave him. When Xian Hong received this mission, he felt great internal pressure. He had heard of Wu Yong's name long ago. Along the way, he was thinking of what to do if Wu Yong rejected or refused to agree with this. To think that he would agree so easily after they met. I finally understand the might and prestige of my lord now. Xian Hong sighed internally, filled with deep emotions. Xian Hong added, Lord Wu Yong, my lord is willing to pay for the entire Sheng Tian true inheritance. It was Wu Yong's turn to be stunned. Hearing Xian Hong's words, it seemed like Fang Yuan wanted a fair trade. He was not going to extort or snatch it by force. Wu Yong quickly reacted. He listed his condition. Xian Hong frowned slightly. Because Wu Yong wanted a rank 9 wind path immortal material, it was quite rare in the market. Xian Hong could not decide this alone. He quickly communicated with Fang Yuan. After receiving an answer, Xian Hong started to smile again as he looked at Wu Yong. Using Treasure Yellow Heaven, this transaction was quickly completed. Fang Yuan obtained the full details of Sheng Tian true inheritance, while Wu Yong obtained a rank 9 wind path immortal material. Fang Yuan has a large number of grotto heavens from the two heavens. It is not strange that he has rare immortal materials. But he really went ahead to transact with me. Surprisingly, getting a rank 9 wind path immortal material. Wu Yong's preparatory work for refining 8-faced prestige wind immortal Gu achieved a significant breakthrough. But Wu Yong could not be happy. Fang Yuan had the battle strength to snatch Sheng Tian true inheritance, but he did not do that. He only sent a Mushroom Man Gu immortal and expressed his sincerity in making a fair trade. Afterwards, he held his word and paid with a rank 9 wind path immortal material. Fang Yuan is truly amazing. Wu Yong sighed deeply. As the saying goes, an expert swimmer would eventually drown. An expert combatant would die in battle. Relying on one's specialty without possessing other skills was a dangerous thing. Once people started to rely on something, they would unknowingly stay within their comfort zone. They would develop a mental pattern. When they encounter problems, they would use their specialty trait to resolve the issues. As time passes, all of their other methods and perspectives would vanish. Eventually, they would face the greatest predicament of their lives. It might be their end. But Fang Yuan did not do that. He had great battle strength and could snatch the true inheritance. But if he did that, he would waste a lot of time and energy. There was even a chance of failing. After all, the information could be erased, but using this transaction, Fang Yuan easily obtained Shengtian true inheritance without a hitch. Wu Yong analyzed. This can mean at least two things. Firstly, Fang Yuan has a lot of immortal materials. One rank 9 wind path immortal material is not important in his eyes. Secondly, even though he is the #1 person in the world, he still keeps his composure and scheming mind. He does not overly rely on his strength. Sigh, it would have been great if I managed to kill him back then. Fang Yuan has already grown fully. With such a nature, he is too terrifying. When Sheng Tian True Inheritance's transaction ended, Fang Yuan's main body was already in Western Desert. Western Desert, Fang Clan's headquarters. Fang Clan's supreme elders were almost fully gathered. They stared at Fang Yuan like he was a fatal enemy. Everyone, don't be too nervous. Really, I came here to make a transaction with Fang Clan. Fang Yuan smiled, but Fang Clan's immortals felt huge pressure weighing on them. Fang Clan's first supreme elder Fang Gong said, "Is it our fortune or misfortune to have received your attention? Everyone, we have quite the relationship actually." Fang Yuan started to activate his killer move, as the aura leaked. All of Fang Clan's Gu immortals stood up from their seats. They quickly activated their immortal Gu. A battle was about to start. Fang Yuan, what are you doing? This is our Fang Clan's headquarters. Earlier when we were outside, you said you wanted to make a transaction. If you attack now, who will believe your words in the future? Fang Clan's Gu immortals called out with intense nervousness. Fang Yuan smiled coldly. If I wanted to harm you, I could have attacked from the start. Can your Fang Clan stop me? As he said so, his appearance changed. Fang Clan's Gu immortals were shocked. Swan Bujin? Fang Yuan activated familiar face again, changing into another appearance. Fang Clan's Gu immortals saw Fang Yuan's appearance. They became shocked again. Fang Dichong. Fang Yuan frowned. He was the adopted son of Fang Dichong. Seeing Fang Yuan's transformation, he felt repulsed. Lord Fang Yuan, did you come all the way to our clan just for this display of transformations to mock us? Fang Yuan looked at Fang Yuan, saying with deep meaning, Yun heir, during this time when I was gone, why didn't you convert to wisdom path? Father gave you 3 wisdom path immortal Gu and even my wisdom path inheritance. Fang Clan has no wisdom path Gu immortal at the moment. If you do not take up this responsibility, who will? You. Fang Yun pointed at Fang Yuan. He stared with wide-opened eyes, filled with shock. The other Fang Clan Gu immortals also had a change of expression. They realized something from his words. They had a guess regarding the truth. The reality of it made them sink into panic. Indeed, I am Swan Bujin, who also became Fang Dichong later on. I have interacted with you guys much more than you think. Fang Yuan looked around as he laughed heartily. Fang Gong's expression was livid. He could not wait anymore. He stood out. What evidence do you have? Fang Yuan gave a bunch of evidence to the Fang Clan Gu immortals as he transmitted to Fang Gong, snickering. Fang Gong, you and Fang Dichong decided to sacrifice Swan Bujin to refine Divine Being Palace. Do you really want me to expose it? Fang Yuan not only had evidence, he even had accurate facts. Fang Clan soon realized the whole story. So Fang Yuan infiltrated our Fang Clan long ago. He even became our external Supreme Elder. Oh heavens, even our second Supreme Elder Fang Dichong was replaced by him. We did not even notice. After Fang Clan's Gu immortals realized the truth, they all turned pale as cold sweat broke out. It was too terrifying that if not for Fang Yuan's reveal, they would still think that Fang Dichong was currently trapped inside Divine Emperor City. Ever since the Fate War ended, Fang Clan had been trying to negotiate with Heavenly Court to get back their Supreme Elder Fang Dichong. This means that Divine Being Palace trapped your clone, while our second Supreme Elder died at your hands. Fang Gong looked at Fang Yuan with a cold gaze. Fang Gong was tall and sturdy, with long white hair and beard spreading around his head like a lion's mane. He had bulging muscles that resembled rocks. Facing the murderer of his second Supreme Elder, if it were any other person, he would have attacked already. But against Fang Yuan, he could only restrain himself. He looked at Fang Yuan with a complex gaze. There was anger and hatred in his eyes, but also helplessness and wariness. Fang Yuan was too strong. His demonic might was unparalleled. His reputation was unmatched. Fang Gong did not dare to make a rash move. Fang Yuan continued, saying that Fang Dichang died at my hands is both correct and also wrong. Fang Dichang's body is destroyed, but his soul is in my hands. Do you want it back? Back then, to avoid the detection of Soul Lantern Gu, Fang Yuan did not kill Fang Dichang. He only separated his body and soul. Fang Dichang's soul was still kept in Fang Yuan's hands. Fang Clan's Gu immortals heard this. They became excited. Fang Dichang's soul is in your hands? Great. Our second Supreme Elder can be saved. No wonder Central Continent has been so vague all this time. So they did not even have our second Supreme Elder in the first place. In the current world, fate has been destroyed, as long as Fang Dichang's soul is around. If he gets a Gu immortal body, he would return to Fang Clan again. If this Gu immortal body cultivates wisdom path, then after Fang Dichang revives, he will be an immense help to your entire clan. Now tell me, friends from Fang Clan, do you want to make a transaction with me? Fang Yuan stated his ultimatum. Fang Clan's Gu immortals were silent. They looked at Fang Gong at the crucial moment. Only a rank 8 Gu immortal like Fang Gong could make the decision. Chapter 2102. Going after Tian Nan's True Inheritance. Chapter 2102. Going after Tian Nan's True Inheritance. The answer to Fang Yuan's question was obvious for Fang Clan. Fang Gong nodded as he thought about his words before saying in a solemn tone, "Of course we are willing to transact, but Sir Fang Yuan, what do you want? If your request is too much, or if it exceeds our capability, then..." Fang Yuan waved his hand, interrupting Fang Gong. "Firstly, I need Thieves' Den. Secondly, I need Fang Clan to take over Green Ghost Desert and provide me with a vast number of soul cores. What I will give to you is not just Fang Dichang's soul. We can slowly discuss the details later." Fang Yuan gave loose conditions. Fang Clan's Gu immortals were excited about it, but also held suspicions. Fang Yuan seemed to know what they were thinking. "I can easily destroy your entire Fang Clan. Why would I need to resort to other methods? I'll let you know. I've already done a transaction with Wu Yong. I am not a brutal person. Killing is just a method. Unless I have to, I will not use brute strength to satisfy my requirements." Fang Clan's immortals were shaken internally. Fang Yuan's words had hidden meaning. He was saying that if they did not satisfy him, he would wage war on them. They would lose terribly and even get wiped out. Fang Gong felt bitter internally. Against this powerful and domineering Fang Yuan, what could he choose? Actually, the moment Fang Yuan showed up, Fang Clan no longer had a chance in the matter. Fang Clan had to cooperate with Fang Yuan. They had to undergo transactions. Otherwise, death. Heavenly Court could not stop Fang Yuan. Spectral Soul was even killed by him. Even before that, Southern Border's rank 8 Gu immortals were also harmed by him. What could the mere Fang Clan do against him? Even a super force would be exterminated. Looking at the past, Northern Plains He tribe had been destroyed, replaced by Baizu tribe. There was also Qing clan. Back then, they were incredibly powerful, but after provoking the young spectral soul, they were wiped out. Green Ghost Desert was now Qing clan's graveyard. It was right beside Fang Clan. Sometimes, one person could wipe out an entire force. In the Gu world, strength ruled above all. Thus, even though super forces had deep foundations, they would often be very careful when dealing with lone immortals or demonic immortals, especially when engaging in combat. In order to survive, Fang Clan agreed to Fang Yuan's requests. The two sides negotiated for some time before they arrived at a conclusion. Fang Yuan's terms were too relaxed. Fang Clan could barely believe this was real. Was this the #1 demon in the world, Guyu Fang Yuan? Because reality was much better than their expectations. These Fang Clan Gu immortals' moods improved drastically. I said before, I am not someone who enjoys killing brutally. Cooperating with me has great benefits. The person who slaughtered his clan, killed all the Gu immortals in He Fan Grotto Heaven, participated in the Dong Fang tribe incident, partially accountable for Snowy Mountain Blessed Land's destruction, annexed his allies in Langya's sect and the variant humans, destroyed 88 True Yang building, captured Southern Border's Righteous Path Gu immortals, killed Gu immortals from all the 5 regions and 2 heavens, participated in Heavenly Court's climactic battle, and the one who slaughtered spectral soul, Fang Yuan, said with an earnest expression. Fang clan's Gu immortals had twitching eyelids as they quickly agreed with him. Lord Fang Yuan is right. Working with Lord Fang Yuan is our clan's greatest blessing. Actually, we know about your circumstances back then, Lord Fang Yuan. Heavenly Court was simply too much of a bully. Fang clan's Gu immortals uttered words that seemed to be their heartfelt feelings. They showed no signs of insincerity. Fang Yuan and Fang Lung were still too young. They remained silent. If Lord Fang Yuan is interested in creating a clan, my Fang clan will do our best to help you. Fang Gong ended the conversation with a promise that held great meaning. Fang Yuan looked at him with a deep gaze before leaving to take tea. The next moment, he activated a killer move and vanished from everyone's sight. Fang Gong tried to induce Fang Yuan into creating a clan. It was for the sake of Fang clan. If their secret transaction was exposed in the future, Fang clan would be in a passive spot. Their reputation would fall. They might even get attacked by other super forces. But if Fang Yuan creates a clan, he would go from the demonic path to the righteous path. By then, if this transaction was exposed, Fang clan would only face some criticism. Gu masters and Gu immortals who were lone and demonic cultivators could convert their statuses into members of the righteous path. Heavenly Lord Baizu was one such example. If a demonic or lone cultivator had enough battle strength to make the righteous path forces wary, they would not want to fight. When these Gu cultivators create their clan, if they were adept at dealing with the surroundings forces to create beneficial relationships, they might reach a certain agreement and balance. They would become part of the righteous path. The truth was, many super forces in history, be they in Western Desert, Eastern Sea, or Southern Border, involved such cases. Fang Yuan's transaction with Fang clan made Fang Gong realize that Fang Yuan was someone with such political view and ability. But if a strong demonic cultivator stops focusing on fighting or killing, he would act like a righteous path member. He would be able to change his status. It is a pity that is not my goal. Fang Yuan smiled lightly to himself. In the 500 years of his previous life, he created the Bloodwing Demon sect. At its peak, there were 10,000 members. He learned of the true essence of strength at that time. In this world, a person's strength can surpass an entire organization's. Any sort of organization was just icing on the cake. Only when an individual had high battle strength would they truly be strong. Even the number one super force, Heavenly Court, had to rely on venerable methods to survive at the moment of crisis. Otherwise, it would have been destroyed already. Thieves Denver. Fang Yuan started his closed cultivation, deciphering this damaged immortal Gu house. Meanwhile, his clone in Eastern Sea, Qi Si ancestor, was also negotiating a transaction with Song clan. Right now, there were only Qi Si ancestor and Song Xiaqi in the hall. Song Xiaqi was a rank 7 Gu immortal of Song clan. He was tasked to be stationed in Qi Si. He was their representative. Right now, Song Xiaqi had an ugly expression. He could not sit still. Because earlier, he had received a small request from Qi Si ancestor, Tian Nan's true inheritance. Qi Si ancestor claimed that his descendants wanted some development in refinement path. Thus, he wanted to make a transaction with Song clan. Song clan had once competed with Ruo Lai clan and Kai clan over the ownership of Ascending Heaven Plane. In the end, they won the true inheritance of old eccentric Tian Nan. Old eccentric Tian Nan was a genius of the remote antiquity era. He had high seniority, the first refinement path supreme grandmaster recorded in history. He was on par with old immortal Kong Ju and long-hair ancestor. Even after 3 million years, old eccentric Tian Nan's true inheritance still had immense value. Song Xiaqi was silent for a while before replying. Reporting to ancestor, I would not dare to lie. Ever since we obtained this refinement path true inheritance, our Song clan has been researching upon it. We specially chose to nurture Gu immortal seeds to make Tian Nan's true inheritance one of our signature strengths in the future. This is a huge matter. I cannot decide on it. Allow me to report it first. But I would guess that the result might disappoint you, ancestor. Song Xiaqi said in a polite tone that he would report it, but he was clearly rejecting the idea. Qi Si ancestor smiled as he waved his hand. You do not need to worry. That was just a thought that I had. Since Tian Nan's true inheritance is so precious to Song clan, why would I snatch it from you? We can forget about this matter. Song Xiaoqi had a grateful expression as he stood up to express his gratitude. He mentioned several other super forces in Eastern Sea. They also had deep foundation in refinement path. The Qi Si ancestor had a compassionate smile as he said, I'll remember your suggestions. Don't be in a rush to leave. I have made some new tea. Meng Xiaozhen passed many dream realms recently, causing Fang Yuan's food path attainment to jump through master level from zero foundation. Becoming a grandmaster, Qi Si ancestor was Fang Yuan's clone. They shared attainment levels. While he organized his combat system, he created some new Qi path tea as well. After drinking the tea, Song Xiaoqi bid farewell to Qi Si ancestor respectfully. After returning to his estate, he used an immortal killer move to communicate with Song clan's headquarters. This matter concerned Qi Si ancestor. It was too important. Song clan's immortals soon learned of this situation. Song clan's Gu immortals put everything else aside as they quickly discussed. Humph. Back then our Song clan spent so much resources and manpower to gain ownership of ascending heaven plane and obtain Tian Nan's true inheritance. This Qi Si ancestor wants to take the fruit of our labor just like that? Wishful thinking. I think it was inappropriate to reject him on the spot. We need to give Qi Si ancestor some respect. At least, we should listen to his offer. No, Tian Nan's true inheritance is not for sale. Even though our Song clan specializes in light path and water path, these two true inheritances are not outstanding compared to other super forces. But with this Tian Nan's true inheritance, our success rate of refining immortal Gu will rise sharply. The benefit for our clan is long-lasting and immense. Song clan had been looking for a refinement path true inheritance all this time. The truth was, many Eastern Sea super forces were doing the same. Because Eastern Sea had the most abundant resources and immortal materials. Once they had a high-quality refinement path true inheritance, the amount of benefits they would gain far surpassed the other regions. Tian Nan's true inheritance belongs solely to Song clan. This advantage might not be clear in the following years, but after decades or centuries, our Song clan's strength will definitely surpass the other super forces. But offending Qi Si ancestor like this might not be appropriate. Thinking about our current situation, after the Qi tide settled, all sorts of inheritances emerged. Us super forces have been competing for them. Once we get into a deadlock, Qi Si ancestor would make the decision as the leader of the righteous Qi alliance. We need to consider if Qi Si ancestor will become biased after this. When he makes a decision in the future, will he purposely strip away our benefits? During this period of time, Qi Si ancestor was truly very busy. Eastern Sea's righteous path forces joined his righteous Qi alliance. When they competed for true inheritances, it became the righteous Qi alliance's internal affair. At some point, it became a trend to ask Qi Si ancestor to make the decision in a case of dispute. More and more forces started to find Qi Si ancestor. Fang Yuan had very profound political skills. Qi Si ancestor was able to make decisions that could satisfy both parties in the dispute most of the time. Thus, Qi Si ancestor's reputation rose every day. Song clan's Gu immortal had such a worry. It was not strange. We can satisfy any of his other requests. There is nothing wrong with improving our relationship with Qi Si ancestor. But he wanted Tian Nan's true inheritance. How do I put this? Qi Si ancestor has a really keen sense, as expected of someone who could contest with Fang Yuan. Earlier, Eastern Sea super forces were friendly to Qi Si ancestor, wanting to rely on him to resist Wu Shuai and the variant human alliance. But now, after the battle to pursue Fang Yuan, Qi Si ancestor was enemies with Fang Yuan. The attitude of many Eastern Sea forces, including Song clan, had changed a lot. Song Xiaoqi, when you rejected Qi Si ancestor, what did he do? Song Qi Yuan asked. Song Xiaoqi quickly replied. He gave up very quickly. There was no change in his attitude. He is very understanding and magnanimous. He even asked me to drink his tea. That new Qi path tea is really amazing. Qi Si ancestor named his new tea triple-layered Qi tea. This tea was made using heaven Qi, earth Qi, and human Qi. In the cup, heaven Qi was at the top, resembling floating clouds. Human Qi was condensed into a lump, resembling a pill that floated in the middle of the cup. Earth chi sank to the bottom. The fragrance of the tea was deeply concealed. Only after it was drank would it emit the fragrance and leave a lingering aftertaste. After Song Clan's Gu immortals heard the description, the unease in their hearts faded away slightly. Chi Si ancestor is really magnanimous. Our Song Clan has always been respectful to him. Seeing his attitude, we should not have much to worry about. Even if he was angry, as the righteous Chi Alliance leader, he would not go overboard. Tian Nan's true inheritance concerns immense benefits. It will be the core inheritance of our clan in the future. We cannot lose it. After the Song Clan Gu immortals discussed for a long time, they made up their minds. They would leave this as it is. Chapter 2103. Song Clan faces disaster. Several days later, inside the sovereign immortal aperture, Dream Realm, after an intense battle of life and death, the opponent in front of Meng Qiuzhen finally fell to the ground. I want to see who you really are. Meng Qiuzhen lost control of the body. He was acting as a young man who angrily went up and pulled off the opponent's veil. But the appearance shocked the young man deeply. Father, how can it be you? The young man shouted as his body trembled. The one who fell was his father. He smiled in satisfaction as he said, My son, you did well. You've learned all the killer moves of our clan, but your heart lacks sufficient hatred and sadness. I have a terminal illness anyway. I cannot live for long. It is better to sacrifice myself for you. The young man broke into tears. Father, why can't we give up on hatred and live in seclusion? Why must we take revenge at all cost? The young man's father stared at him fixedly. Our entire family was killed by the enemy. Your mother, your grandparents, your younger brothers and sisters, they were all killed. This hatred is above anything else. How can we not take revenge? Remember, your father died because of this. If you do not take revenge, my death will be in vain. I would have died because of you. The young man's body shook as he said in a hoarse voice, Father. He wept in pain as a pale blue flame started to burn around his body at this time. His father saw this flame as became very happy. Good, good, good. Such a powerful agony blue heart flame. It is enough to take our revenge. We can take revenge now. Saying so, the young man's father took his final breath. Oh no. Meng Qiuzhen cried out internally. Seeing his father's death, the agony blue heart flame on the young man's body expanded rapidly. It burned with at least 10 times of the intensity as before. Meng Qiuzhen's soul was still in the dream. He instantly felt a surge of sadness, anger, and hatred. They poured into his heart like a torrential river. I cannot lose myself. This is the hardest part of the dream realm. Meng Qiuzhen desperately held on, but he started to lose his grip in a few moments. Create dream. Without a choice, he immediately used a dream path immortal killer move to defend his soul in a newly created dream within a dream. He was situated in a large room. The room broke out in flames. It was burning in blue flames. Meng Qiuzhen quickly took action, extinguishing the fire all over the house, trying to save it. After a chaotic period, the fire started to dwindle. The sturdy house was also burned to a crisp. Only an intact guest room was left. I survived. Meng Qiuzhen let out a breath of air, dispelling the killer move dream within dream as he returned to the original dream realm. The final hurdle of the dream realm was simply too fatal. Meng Qiuzhen was almost engulfed by emotions. He nearly forgot about reality and the dream completely, submerging entirely into this dream. Of course, each time he explored a dream, his main body would stay outside to guard against any accidents. He would take action if something happened. This dream realm was finally passed. Together with the gains of the earlier few dream realms, Fang Yuan's fire path attainment level reached Great Grandmaster. Fire path attainment level reached Great Grandmaster. I can finally annex those fire path grotto heavens in the 2 heavens. Looking at the time, Wu Shuai's method should have activated already. Fang Yuan's main body assessed. Immemorial 2 heavens. Fire plane grotto heaven. On a vast grassland. There was red-colored firebeard grass growing everywhere. It was harvest season. Gu masters of the grotto heaven started to use gu worms to collect the firebeard grass. Crack, crack. From somewhere, a terrifying sound could be heard from below. The moment the gu masters sensed something, they were faced with a fatal threat. Countless ants came up from underground. Some were finger-sized, some were large as carriages. The number of ants was uncountably large. They instantly engulfed the entire fire-beard grassland. Skeleton Grotto Heaven. What is going on? What is going on? The Grotto Heaven Gu immortal in charge of raising the bone armor hounds was flustered and helpless. The 1,000 or so bone armor hounds that he was in charge of rearing started to growl in anguish. Some were rolling on the ground, biting in a frenzy. The Gu immortal had a pale expression. "Oh no, I'm finished. Granny said that I had to take care of these bone armor hounds with utmost carefulness, but I actually screwed up so badly." Some bone armor hounds started to die. A large number of ants crawled out of their corpses. The Gu immortal gritted his teeth in anger. "So these ants are the cause of this. I want you all to ugh." The Gu immortal was quickly shocked and uncertain, because more and more ants came out of the bone armor hounds. Some were even coming out from the ground. These ants were like raging tides. The size was growing rapidly. The Gu immortal was very shocked. There was even immortal Gu aura among them. The Gu immortal did not dare to stay here. He quickly retreated. Profound Literature Grotto Heaven. Imperial Court. Your Majesty, Chuzhou, 1, Qingzhou, Lianzhou, and other areas are experiencing ant plagues. The ant plagues are too terrifying. In just half a day, hundreds of thousands of mortals died. 100 cities got wiped out. Within the ant plague, there are rank 6 and 7 immortal ants. All of the officials in the various provinces are troubled. The current dynasty's emperor frowned with a solemn expression. The ant plague is too vicious. It is not something we can resolve. The current matter at hand is to contact the Grotto Lord. Song Clan Headquarters. Grandpa, you're so nice to me. Thank you for the immortal Gu. Song Yishur held the rank 6 water path immortal Gu in her hands as she spoke happily. Song Clan's first supreme elder Song Chi Yuan was her grandfather at this moment. Song Chi Yuan looked at his beloved granddaughter. He said in concern, "Our clan is researching Tian Nan's true inheritance. This water path, immortal Gu, is our first success. But my dear granddaughter, don't go around flaunting it. Tell others that you captured this wild immortal Gu by chance. Even though I am the first supreme elder, I cannot be openly biased towards you." I get it. Song Yishur looked at the water path immortal Gu in her hands with overflowing joy. While she was toying around with it in her hands, her face suddenly turned pale as she held her tummy. So much pain, so painful. She fell down weakly. Her face had turned white like snow. Initially, only her stomach was hurting, but soon, the unbearably intense pain spread to her entire body. "My granddaughter, what's happening?" Song Chi Yuan was shocked. He quickly checked the next moment. Song Chi Yuan found that there were countless ants roaming around in Song Yishur's body, devouring her flesh. The thing that made him even angrier was that these ants were actually eating away at her down marks. Such evil ants, such vicious methods. Song Chi Yuan quickly made his move that a pure white light shrouded over Song Yishur. The light split into countless threads that entered her body, killing all of these ants in an instant. Song Chi Yuan cultivated light path. His attainment level was very high. He used his methods with great proficiency, easily suppressing the situation. But good times did not last long. Soon, new ants grew out and continued to torture Song Yishur. Song Chi Yuan's brows were tightly locked. He felt heartache at her plight, but also deep anger. He soon realized the problem that it turned out that these new ants were emerging from Song Yishur's immortal aperture. "My granddaughter, bear with the pain. Take a look at your immortal aperture." Song Chi Yuan tried to speak to her in a gentle tone. Song Yishur took a look at her immortal aperture as her face turned pale with shock. She cried with reddened eyes. So many ants. Grandfather, my immortal aperture is going to be destroyed by these ants." The terrifying ant plague spread around the many Gu immortals of the righteous Qi alliance. The grotto heavens of the two heavens were the main victims. Old immortal Huayu, Granny Skeleton, and Fireplane Grotto Heaven's owner were the main targets. Other than them, there were the Song clan, the Ruolai clan, and the Kai clan. As for the remaining Eastern Sea super forces, even though they faced the ant plague too, it was to a smaller extent, involving their external resource points. Once the ant plague appeared, it immediately received the attention of the entire righteous Qi alliance. This ant plague is too strange. It is clearly targeting us. We didn't find anything strange earlier. The variant-human alliance is completely intact. Such powerful ants. Even an idiot knows that this is the work of Wu Shuai. To think that Wu Shuai is just a mere clone of Fang Yuan. Yet he has such a terrifyingly vicious method. The Righteous Qi Alliance soon found the culprit. They were furious and gathered to discuss it. Many of the victims displayed the ants in their territories. The aura of these ants varied from weak to strong, from mortal to immortal. They came in all sorts of shapes and sizes. There was no clear pattern. These ants are very scary. The most terrifying thing is that they can devour Tao marks to refine and raise their rank themselves. They are too hard to eliminate. We could not find any ant eggs. And the biggest question now is, when did we get hit by this move? The Gu immortals discussed among themselves while Qi Si ancestor sat at the main seat, holding this session for them. He had a worried expression, but he secretly admired Wu Shuai internally. I've been trying to complete my combat system and create core killer moves. Thus, I asked the main body to get Sheng Tian true inheritance. To think that Wu Shuai has already gone one step further and innovated, creating an even more complex killer move, lingering poisonous ant plague. Qi Si ancestor knew some details. Even though Fang Yuan's main body and Wu Shuai did not tell him, they were not keeping things a secret either. In their interactions, they exposed some details that it turned out that after Meng Qiuzhen became an immortal and obtained multiple dream path immortal Gu, his efficiency in exploring dream realms rose tremendously. Fang Yuan's food path and poison path rose to grandmaster level. Clones shared his attainment levels. Wu Shuai used his quasi-supreme refinement path and enslavement path attainment levels, as well as would path grandmaster, to create a qualitative change and make a breakthrough. Originally, Wu Shuai's ants came from green ant ascetic. Even though this method had great battle strength, a long time had passed since his era. This time, Wu Shuai referenced the killer move Qin Chou. On the basis of green ant ascetic, he made a breakthrough and allowed his ants to devour Tao marks to auto-refine themselves into higher ranks. But Wu Shuai's main body could not use the move. Only Fang Yuan's main body could use it. Lingering poisonous ant plague was in essence a compound killer move comprising poison path, enslavement path, refinement path, wood path, and food path. It even expended unrestrained heavenly marks. This move had an incredibly powerful concealment effect. It began by using the advantage of poison path, possessing concealment and infectiousness. After the killer move's Tao marks infect the target's immortal aperture, it would turn into miniature ants that devour the surroundings to grow stronger and increase in numbers. After they reach a certain size, they would turn into the terrifying ant plague To completely get rid of the ant plague, one would need to eliminate the respective Tao marks. But currently, the Righteous Qi Alliance had not found out this fact yet. Even if they knew, they would not have efficient methods to deal with this compound killer move either. 1. Actual cities in China. Chapter 2104. Helpless Immortals. In the hall at the bottom of Qi Si, the representatives of the clans in the Righteous Qi Alliance gathered with many different wills, discussing on how to resolve the lingering poisonous ant plague. The ant plague had just been discovered. The clans did not have any good ideas. Thus, gradually, their gazes shifted towards Qi Si ancestor. The grotto heaven owners that resided in the two heavens were already gritting their teeth. They asked Qi Si ancestor to stand up for them. The ant plague harmed almost all the two heavens grotto heavens Righteous Qi Alliance members. These people were considered closest to Qi Si ancestor. As for Eastern Sea's forces, only Song clan, Ruolai clan, and Kai clan were affected. Thus, Eastern Sea's Gu immortals deduced. Did this method originate from the two heavens? Song clan, Ruolai clan, and Kai clan got hit by it because they have ascending heaven plane. Nobody suspected Qi Si ancestor to be the culprit, because the ones who suffered the most were Qi Si ancestor's closest allies in the Righteous Qi Alliance. After staying silent for a moment, Qi Si ancestor said, "We need to resolve this ant plague. In my opinion, this problem is even greater than the Qi harvest fruit from before. As long as the Qi harvest fruit does not explode, it would not damage the grotto heaven. But this ant plague harms Gu immortals and their foundations at all times. Among us here, some have not encountered this problem. But if we do not try to resolve this now, nobody will be spared in the future. The immortals in the hall were all very worried that GU immortals were astute people. Everyone acknowledged Chi Si ancestors' words. If not for this, they would not have gathered to discuss this so quickly. The ant plague was like a fire, even though it was only burning some people now. If it was not put out in time, everyone would be affected by it eventually, Chi Si ancestor continued. Resolving this ant plague will not be like the Chi harvest fruit problem. During that time, I could still try to solve it, but this ant plague does not concern Chi path. Thus, we will have to rely on all of you. We must work together to get through this. We need to gather the wisdom path Gu immortals of the respective clans and make deductions together. During the process, if they need any immortal Gu, killer move, a particular path Gu immortal great expert, or even the help of a true inheritance, you need to provide it without holding back. Chi Si ancestors' expression became increasingly solemn. Even if we cannot resolve this, we need to be able to suppress and slow down the ant plague for now. If we cannot even suppress it, we will need to wage war on the variant human alliance again. Chi Si ancestor spoke with a firm tone. His expression was very serious. The hall fell into silence. The Gu immortals stopped talking. Chi Si ancestors' words made good sense. The terrifying part of the ant plague was that it consumed the foundation of the Gu immortal if it could not be restrained or stopped in time. The ant plague would grow increasingly strong, while the righteous Chi alliance would become weakened severely. After a long time, a clear difference in strength would be apparent between the righteous Chi alliance and variant human alliance. If they did not attack early and deal with the variant human alliance, eventually, the righteous Chi alliance would not have the strength to contest the variant human alliance anymore. The killer move lingering poisonous ant plague involved many paths and even used up unrestrained heavenly marks. This killer move was at the strategic level. It had terrifying might. But waging war on the variant human alliance? Isn't that simply waging war on Guyu Fang Yuan and Wu Shui? How can we be Fang Yuan's match? Even spectral soul fell at his hands. But if we do not fight, are we going to wait for death? There is no longer an option for us. This demon Fang Yuan is too overbearing. No, even Heavenly Court could not do anything against Fang Yuan. Even though our righteous Chi alliance has many members, isn't Fang Yuan also accumulating strength right now? Maybe we can get help from Heavenly Court. Humph. Heavenly Court is not worthy of being the leader of the righteous path. Our Lord Alliance leader has already contacted them, wanting to work together to deal with the variant human alliance. They have been stalling with excuses. In my opinion, the best situation is for us to work together and resolve this ant plague. Even though Fang Yuan is behind this, he has not taken action personally. This is his probe towards us. We need to perfectly resolve this ant plague and show him our strength. The immortals in the hall discussed. They soon came to a consensus. They did not want an all-out battle to the death. Eastern Seas Gu immortals did not have the same nature as Northern Plains Gu immortals. Furthermore, all of the clans were busy competing for the newly exposed true inheritances. They were too busy. Why shouldn't they strengthen themselves instead of pitting their lives against the enemies? For normal fights, they would be wins or losses. There was hope. That was why people would want to fight. But to fight against Fang Yuan to the death, it would not lead to the enemy's death. They would certainly die themselves. All the Gu immortals did not say this, but they had the same opinion internally. Heavenly Court's distressed state, spectral soul's loss. All these proved that Fang Yuan had terrifying might and incredible craftiness. Eastern Seas Gu immortals did not know that spectral soul's main body was still around. In their eyes, Fang Yuan even managed to kill a former venerable. His strength was simply too much. His demonic might was unparalleled. Unless they had absolutely no choice, they did not want to provoke such a person. In that case, let's try to resolve the ant plague. Chi Si ancestors' final sentence ended this meeting. The righteous Chi alliance started to put in effort to research on how to resolve this. But was the killer move lingering poisonous ant plague so simple? The more the Gu immortals from the righteous Chi alliance researched, the less confident they got. Facing everyone's expectations, even the wisdom path Gu immortals doing the deductions felt increasing pressure as time passed. Days passed. They did not produce any good results. All the clans were unhappy. Chi Si ancestor also personally came to ask about it. The wisdom path Gu immortals with Huan at the lead had to ask, "Don't be anxious. We have a discovery." The ant plague contains wood path profundity. These ants are able to grow while growing is a specialty of wood path. This is likely because Fang Yuan fought against Qing Chou and gained some inspiration from it. To be honest, these wisdom path Gu immortals were quite impressive to have realized this. Thus, Eastern Seas wood path experts were brought over and participated in the research. There was no result again. The wisdom path and wood path Gu immortals felt increasing pressure. They shouted, "Enslavement path! Enslavement path!" The ant plague contains enslavement path profundity. These ants are organized in an orderly manner. They work in unison to create a huge plague. This is the power of enslavement path. Thus, the Righteous Chi Alliance's enslavement path experts also joined in the group and participated in the research, but the research still made no progress. The wisdom path, wood path, and enslavement path Gu immortals could not stand the pressure. They shouted again, "We need poison path experts." There were not many poison path experts, but they still existed. Under everyone's expectations, the poison path experts also joined in the research. We also need food path experts. These ants have the ability to grow from devouring food. The researching Gu immortals said in agreement. However, food path Gu immortals were just too rare. After talking among themselves, the immortals had to invite the famous Eastern Sea lone immortal, Zuexian Wang. Zuexian Wang had many acquaintances. He had some sort of connection with most of the Righteous Path forces, but he was not currently in Eastern Sea. We need refinement path as well. We found that the core of the ant plague is refinement path. Undoubtedly, after Fang Yuan obtained Langya's sect, his refinement path attainment is too deep. These ants are able to devour Dao marks and refine themselves into immortal Gu. This is too shocking. Eastern Sea's clans quickly put an effort together. They sent most of their clan's refinement path Gu immortals over. With everyone's collective effort, progress in the research was showing. These clans' elites were really talented people, but they could not find the most important and fundamental result. Did this single move, lingering poisonous ant plague, overwhelm the entire Eastern Sea righteous path? That was the fact of the matter. This was simply unbelievable to the Righteous Chi Alliance's Gu immortals, but they had no choice but to admit it. Shun Tsungsheng said some words that showed deep wisdom. At this point, I've already understood some things. That Fang Yuan has the sovereign immortal body. He cultivates all paths. He is an all-round genius. This compound killer move comprises poison path, wood path, refinement path, food path, and enslavement path profundities. He put the specialties of all these paths together in an intrinsic manner. As for us, we can only cultivate one path, or two at most. If we cultivate poison path, we cannot understand wood path. If we cultivate wood path, we know nothing about food path. Because of this, even if we work together, we cannot solve this ant plague problem. Even now, the Righteous Chi Alliance had not discovered that lingering poisonous ant plague killer move also comprised heaven path profundity. However, nobody in history had ever cultivated heaven path. It was normal that they did not discover this. How can a person cultivate every path like this? Speaking of which, Spectral Soul is too useless. Shadow Sect and Zombie Alliance spent over 100,000 years of accumulation to refine a rank 9 sovereign immortal fetus Gu, but he actually lost it to Fang Yuan like this. Creating compound killer moves is simply as easy as breathing for him. After some time passes from now, he is going to have even more new methods. This demon only used one move to send us into panic and helplessness. Why is it that our Eastern Sea has to be the one suffering from this number one demon's method? The Righteous Chi Alliance could not find a solution. While venting their frustrations out loud, they felt disdain towards Spectral Soul. They felt increasing hatred towards Fang Yuan, along with dense wariness. They also felt helpless and tearful about their own fate. In that case, let's fight with them. Chi Si ancestor surged with fighting spirit. He said with a firm tone, "Lord Alliance leader, the situation has not reached that stage yet." A Gu immortal immediately interjected. Chi Si ancestor sighed. "Our Righteous Chi Alliance's losses have been severe these days. Carrying on like this is pointless. We will fall into that vicious Fang Yuan's trap. If we wait anymore, we will not have the strength to fight anymore." These days, the two Heavens Gu immortals suffered tremendous losses. Among Eastern Sea's Righteous Path forces, Song Clan, Kai Clan, and Ruo-like clans suffered the most losses. As for the other clans, even though the ant plague also affected them, it had just started for them after all. Thus, most of the righteous path clans did not want to wage war now. Of course, this situation was something that Fang Yuan intended for when he took action earlier. Chapter 2105. Obtaining True Inheritances. We still have hope. We are not in a truly desperate situation yet. That's right. Even though we gathered most of the elite Gu immortals of our clans, we have not taken out our true inheritances for them to use as reference. With these true inheritance contents, if we can come up with ideas together, there is a high chance of resolving the ant plague crisis. Chi-Si ancestor was silent for a while before nodding slowly. The situation is very severe. I believe all of you know that even without me saying it. Thus, everyone needs to contribute their true inheritances. Please show us your utmost sincerity. If anyone dares to hide their inheritance or conceal it, don't blame me for taking matters into my own hands. As long as we can get rid of the ant plague, the entire Righteous Chi Alliance will benefit. Everyone's efforts will be rewarded and compensated. I believe that our contribution board would be the best answer to you. To resolve the ant plague, all the clans started to make contributions. Hua clan took out their snake poison chi thread true inheritance. Nangong clan took out great profound true inheritance. Xie clan took out remnant leaves true inheritance. Su clan took out big belly true inheritance. Originally, even though Righteous Chi Alliance had a contribution board, there were few names on it. Before this, Chi-Si ancestor also asked the clans to exchange inheritances and killer moves mutually, but these were all superficial exchanges. After all, if there was no need to, who would take out their unique inheritance to trade to others? But now, the situation was different. Not only did the contribution board's length get longer, the intensity of the competition over rankings also rose. The names on the list moved up and down constantly. Different inheritance details had varying value. Some were more precious than others, while some were hard to assess. But Chi-Si ancestor was Fang Yuan's clone. They shared attainment level. He had deep knowledge about this and gave all the clans' inheritances an appropriate assessment of value. Even if the contributor was not happy with it, Chi-Si ancestor would gather the immortals and discuss together. Each time, his arguments would convince all the Gu immortals and leave them unable to rebuke him. This happened with increasing frequency. Chi-Si ancestors' prestige also rose as well. The Righteous Chi Alliance's members were all in awe towards Chi-Si ancestors' wealth of knowledge. First Supreme Elder, are we really handing over Tian Nan's true inheritance? This is Tian Nan's true inheritance after all. Back then, in order to get ascending heaven plane and obtain this true inheritance, we spent so much effort and suffered immense hardship. Song clan's Gu immortals went to find Song Chi Yuan. They were very unwilling. Song Chi Yuan sighed deeply as he said helplessly, "Can't you see the current situation? It has gone out of our control. Everyone knows that we possess Tian Nan's true inheritance. They have already been asking us to contribute it time and time again. Even dragging it until now is our limit." Xia clan gave their molten casting true inheritance, while Tang clan contributed their myriad fusion true inheritance. If we do not give them Tian Nan's true inheritance, we will not be able to explain for ourselves. Everyone is looking at us now. Who would let us off? Song clan's Gu immortals turned silent. The situation had unknowingly gone out of their control. Initially, all the clans had good intentions. In order to avoid war and to resolve the ant plague, they contributed some true inheritances. Even though these true inheritances were of wood path, food path, and other relevant paths, they were not too important or valuable. But even if the value was not high, they were still ranked accordingly. Some people became higher ranked, some were lower ranked. The difference was not obvious, so be it. But this contribution board indicated everyone's contribution very clearly. The clans at the top would feel unhappy when they looked at it. Why did we contribute so much while others make barely any contribution? Let alone the rest. Doesn't that clan have that true inheritance we need? Why are they still keeping silent? Look at us. We even gave up our important true inheritance. With such pressure, those at the lower end of the list had to choose some inheritances to contribute. This way, the people at the bottom would go to the top. They would feel unhappy again. If they still ranked below the rest, they would be mocked at by the top contributors. They might even face humiliating criticism. Is this all that your clan has? You can't even give us anything good. You dare to call yourselves a super clan? Gu immortals were astute people. When they took out their inheritances, they would think of offering those with similar value to make sure everyone had around the same ranking. But how could that happen? There were too many names on the contribution board. Who could be certain that their inheritance was just about right? And even if some Gu immortals felt that it was about right, others would think differently. Even if everyone was happy about it. Don't forget who the person evaluating these inheritances was. Chi-Si ancestor pretended to be regulating this exchange, but he was creating problems for them secretly. Thus, all the different clans competed and mocked each other. The competition became intense. The clans started taking out more and more valuable inheritances. This led to the pain of loss, which turned into anger and unhappiness when they saw those people who contributed less than them. Thus, the situation got out of their control. All the clans had to take out their top-tier true inheritances. Song clan was not the first one. And Tian Nan's true inheritance was already an eyesore to some people. They wanted it to be contributed. I've already given up this true inheritance. Why is your Song clan keeping Tian Nan's true inheritance? Do you think this is the right thing to do? Humph, my clan's sacrifice is so big. I need to make sure Song clan suffers as well. Song clan's Tian Nan's true inheritance definitely has huge value. Using this chance, we can obtain it easily while having a good reason for it. This is great. All the clans had many Gu immortals. These were all elites. The contribution of true inheritances became a competition. It turned into a political conflict between the clans. The Righteous Chi Alliance's members were tearing at each other, while the biggest beneficiary was the high and mighty Chi-Si ancestor who watched this spectacle from his main seat. Fang Yuan not only obtained Tian Nan's true inheritance, he also got several other refinement path true inheritances. There were also some food path inheritances that he was interested in. Undoubtedly, Eastern Sea was very rich. These super forces had very deep foundations. They definitely had even better things, but it was not wise to ask them for more. If the pressure intensified, it might backfire instead. What made the Righteous Chi Alliance slightly happier was that after the immense contributions, they finally saw some results. Even though they could not get rid of the lingering poisonous ant plague, there were methods that could restrict its growth now. Brainstorming was still an effective strategy. Even though Fang Yuan's killer move was unique, with the hard work of the entire Eastern Sea Righteous Path, it was only a matter of time until they resolved it. Using one killer move to decimate the entire region's Righteous Path was impossible to begin with. Killer moves were fixed, they had flaws. That was why Gu immortals could improve upon them. Fang Yuan did not think this would work. His true motive was to get refinement path inheritances. Everything else was an added bonus. He wanted to become venerable through refinement path. He had to become venerable to reach a qualitative change that would give him the strength to resist star, constellation, giant sun, and spectral soul. Of course, it was not that Fang Yuan could not snatch these inheritances using force. His current battle strength had surpassed the entire Eastern Sea Righteous Path, but the efficiency was just too low. How could it compare to the speed of their willing contribution? Also, true inheritances could be destroyed. It was a risky thing to do. And finally, it would waste Fang Yuan's time and energy. His growth would become slower. Fang Yuan would also waste his luck. All these super forces had immense foundation and huge luck. Fighting against them would expend his own luck. When he went to Crazed Demon Cave, Fang Yuan would need to face venerable opponents. It was better to conserve his strength instead of wasting it. This was also why Fang Yuan made transactions with Southern Borders Wu Clan and Western Deserts Fang Clan. Fang Yuan's main body soon got hold of the contents of Tian Nan's true inheritance and the others. Among all the inheritances that the Righteous Chi Alliance took out, Tian Nan's true inheritance had the highest value. Right now, on the contribution board, Song Clan was placed at the top spot. Old eccentric Tian Nan described his grand and maniacal ambitions in this true inheritance. He wanted to refine the immemorial two heavens and even the 5 regions to turn them into his own external immortal aperture. There was no doubt about it. He failed. Even a venerable could only refine the Tao marks of their own path in the outside world. Yet, Old eccentric Tian Nen wanted to refine all the Tao marks of the world that in Fang Yuan's case. This was completely possible in theory. When Gu cultivators refine Gu, weren't they just refining the relevant Tao marks or Tao fragments of the Gu? The biggest obstacle to old eccentric Tian Nan was none other than Heaven Path. He found that no matter what idea he came up with, he could not refine Heaven Path Tao marks. Eventually, he found an extremely risky method but ended up failing. In historical records, old eccentric Tian Nan had an eccentric nature. He tried to refine the heavens and ended up dying as a result. It was said that being half a step ahead of the era was genius, while being one step ahead of the era was insanity. Old eccentric Tian Nan was such a lunatic. 2 million years passed, and the eras progressed. One person who managed to resolve old eccentric Tian Nan's biggest problem finally appeared. Limitless Demon Venerable. He succeeded in his heaven path. Refinement. Over 1 million years passed again. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable entered Crazed Demon Cave in his exploration. He obtained Limitless Demon Venerable's method that could do this. Indeed, it was Unrestrained Heavenly Mark. The Unrestrained Heavenly Mark killer move that Lu Weiyin gave to Fang Yuan had a long history. It was not created by Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable. Paradise Earth merely modified it. The source was limitless. And what surprised Fang Yuan was that in this Tian Nan's true inheritance, there were Reckless Savage Demon Venerable's notes that it turned out that Reckless Savage Demon Venerable had also obtained Tian Nan's true inheritance in Ascending Heaven Plane. Even though he learned the true inheritance's details, he did not destroy it. He even made it more sturdy to pass on to the future generations. In his later years, Reckless Savage Demon Venerable returned here and added his own refinement path experience in Tian Nan's true inheritance. This old man Tian Nan is really daring. Speaking of which, if I can refine the entire heavenly Tao, that would be so cool. It is a pity that refinement path does not suit me. I still prefer close combat using my body. But I can make use of those remaining beast men. Didn't they want to use food path to claim victory? Wishful thinking. They think I have not discovered that gluttonous demon frog. Using the notes, Fang Yuan saw that the mystery of the past history was unveiled to an extent. In historical records, Reckless Savage Demon Venerable used the lingering beastmen in his old age to create Reckless Savage Grotto Heaven. He left behind his true inheritance inside it. Turned out that Reckless Savage Demon Venerable was using Tian Nan's true inheritance to scheme against and make use of those beastmen's methods instead.